So it's time to talk about something that I think not many people want to talk about with the GLP-1s. What happens when you stop using them? The thing is, at the moment, we don't know how long is the perfect amount of time for someone to be on a GLP-1. And with these types of questions, we can look into the research and see what studies at least are showing us. And what we see there is that a lot of the trials, they run for about 1 to 2 years, and they show that around the 12-month to the 18-month mark, weight loss does tend to plateau or slow down. This could be a reason that many people stop using them. What we do know though is that when people come off GLP-1s, the weight tends to come back. Not all of it, but a significant amount. Studies are showing that people are regaining up to 2/3 of the weight that they lost, and when you've put in all the work to lose the weight on the GLP-1s and you've paid all the money for them, to see the weight come back won't be the greatest feeling. And so in this video, we will talk about why this could happen and some of the things that you can do to prevent the weight from coming back. So let's go. Let's start with what happens when you stop using a GLP-1. So we know that GLP-1s, they do two main things. They act on areas of the brain that control your hunger and also feelings of fullness, and adjust things in there so that food noise gets turned down, your appetite is reduced, food isn't on your mind as much, you get full more easily. The next, your stomach empties a lot more slowly, food stays in the stomach longer so you feel fuller for longer. Basically, you end up eating less food. And then over time, as you lose weight, your body starts to actually burn less calories. And this is because it becomes more efficient at using the reduced amount of food that you were giving it. It does this to protect against weight loss. Your body doesn't know that you want to lose weight. Its natural state is to protect against weight loss. And so this is what's happening during your GLP-1 use. But let's fast forward to when you stop and a few things happen. The food noise that was reduced, that comes back. You might be feeling a bit more hungry, and that's because hormones that signal for you to be hungry, like something called ghrelin, they start to come back and they make you feel much hungrier again. Your stomach starts emptying itself back at a normal rate, so it starts emptying itself a bit faster. And remember, your body has adapted to burn less calories. So let's think of that for a second. Hunger signals are now stronger, but you are burning less energy. So there's a mismatch here where your body now feels like it wants to get more energy in the form of food, but it doesn't need that much. So this is essentially the perfect storm for weight gain to happen. And it becomes very easy for the weight to come back under these conditions. The reason I want everyone to understand this is because if you come off a GLP-1 and you notice your appetite is back with a vengeance and you've seen weight start to come back, it does not mean you have failed. It doesn't mean you are weak or undisciplined. It is biology, and it is explained by these processes that are how the medication works, and the fact that you've stopped them. And so knowing all that though, the question then becomes, what can I do about it? Well, what you want to do is actually start preparing before you stop using your GLP-1. Don't start thinking about this the week you decide to come off the GLP-1. You need to actually start building some foundations so that when you stop the GLP-1, you have the base to land on. I've always seen GLP-1s as momentum builders. They get the ball rolling. They make it a bit easier to get those healthier habits in with eating and moving. And then you can ideally take the GLP-1 away and you can keep going with the changes you've hopefully made. And so the first thing that I want you to think about is protein. I've talked about protein a lot in this series. I talked about it a lot in the last episode. And it's because of how important it is for preserving muscle when it comes to stopping a GLP-1. Protein becomes very helpful, not only for muscle, but satiety. High protein foods help you feel full. So if you're already in the habit of making sure you are eating enough protein, that's great, because when that appetite does come back, you can have the higher protein foods to help keep yourself feeling fuller for longer, which may mean that you don't drastically increase the amount of food that you eat. The next thing is resistance training. Again, I've mentioned this before, last episode, but resistance training helps you build muscle, and it signals to your body that you are using this muscle and you need it, so it protects muscle from being lost during weight loss. During your time using a GLP-1, it's important to try and get into a routine with your resistance exercises that you can sustain for the long term, so that when you stop the GLP-1, you're able to keep going with it. So whether that is lifting weights, doing some body weight exercises, or playing some sort of sport, you need to do something to help with muscle. The reason that muscle becomes a bit more important once you stop the GLP-1 is because muscle uses up energy to build itself and also to maintain itself. So the more muscle that you have, the more calories that you burn at rest, and that makes weight gain that much harder. So alongside the resistance exercise, movement in general becomes important. I suggest everyone just get in the habit of daily walks or alternate day walks. And the reason is, the more you move, the more energy you are using. When you come off a GLP-1, you may just start to eat more food. It's because your appetite is coming back. And if you move less, you are giving yourself less chances of using up that energy that you are taking in, and that can accelerate weight gain. Now, the last thing to try to think about before stopping the GLP-1 is actually your food environment. It's much easier to make changes to your food environment while you are on the GLP-1 because your appetite is reduced and you're hopefully having less cravings. So it's a good idea to make sure that you have less ultra-processed snack foods around. Now, not all ultra-processed foods are bad, but the ones that are high in salt, saturated fat, and added sugars, we want to remove them from our homes so that they aren't easily accessible, because when those cravings come, you will just grab them if they are lying around the house. Make sure you also have a bit of a roster of simple high protein and high fiber meals that you feel you can confidently make, so you aren't relying too much on takeout, which tends to be much higher in the calories that they contain. Meal prepping is also a very good idea here. Once hunger signals come back, your environment will have a bit of an influence on how you cope. So give yourself the best chance of success and make your home a supportive environment for yourself. I know this, and a lot of what I'm saying, is much easier said than done. It will take you a long time to get all this sorted, which is why I'm saying don't wait until you're off the GLP-1 to start doing these things. Build the habits over the months that you are on the GLP-1 for. That's mainly what I think the GLP-1 medication should primarily be used for. I also do want to say though, don't just measure your success by the number on that scale. Think about other health markers that maybe you've improved on. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, energy levels, stress. If these things continue to go well, but you see your weight creep up just a little bit, cut yourself some slack and remember what is going well. In the end, you need to just settle on a sustainable maintenance weight. So I would much rather someone be a slightly higher weight, but still have decent muscle mass, fitness capacity, is able to sleep well, have good blood sugars and blood pressure, and most importantly, be happy. But if all those things do start to slip, then yes, I think at that point it would be a good idea to check back in with the doctor and go from there. What I'm basically trying to say in this video is do all the groundwork while you are using the GLP-1, and then whenever it is that you do stop using it, if at all, then you know that you are making your life a little bit easier. But if you are thinking of coming off a GLP-1, it's very important that you don't just stop all of a sudden. Talk to your doctor about it first. Usually there is a gradual reduction where you might space out the injections a bit more or maybe go down in dose. This is to prepare the body and give it time to adjust rather than just slamming on the brakes. It's also going to be important to set up a monitoring plan with your doctor where they continue to check and see how your weight, your blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, see how they're all going. And with weight gain, it's a good idea to decide at what point to take some action with weight gain. So for example, if you gain 7 to 10% of what you lost, then maybe that's when you decide to talk to a doctor about your options. It's going to be different for everyone, and it's impossible to predict how you'll go, but always make sure that your doctor or your medical team, they're involved because they're there to help. If you are someone who has stopped a GLP-1 and is seeing the weight come back, ask yourself if the way that you are eating has changed. Are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough fiber? Have you started to consume more foods that are energy dense, so high in salt, fat, and added sugars because you're craving them more? Are you moving enough? Is there something else going on in your life that maybe is stressful and impacting on your eating habits? From there, figure out what's changed, start slowly, and even make one change to help yourself get back on course. But also, talk to your doctor. You might need to restart the GLP-1 if that is appropriate to your situation, or maybe you need to see a dietitian for some help with the nutrition and the meal planning. Obesity is a chronic condition. It requires long-term maintenance. So I'm really hoping that these past 5 videos have been somewhat useful. Again, if you are up to it, please share your experiences or even tips for other GLP-1 users in the comments. I think a lot of people would feel better knowing that they're not the only ones struggling with some weight coming back once stopping GLP-1s. Now, I am also thinking of doing a bit of a Q&A video in the future. So if you have any questions about anything that's been mentioned in this series or anything that you're struggling with GLP-1s, ask away, put them in the comments, and I'll make a video going through whatever questions that I can help with. I won't be giving any specific information on here though, because I don't want anyone to follow anything that isn't suitable for them. If there's something going on specifically with you that you think you need help with, you can email me and I'll see what I can do. But good luck. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep playing the long game.